Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and this is just a little tacky. We can start shaping it a little bit. And I like to use a chisel, and I actually prefer a dull chisel, because if it's too sharp, I might cause more damage than I want to. So I'm just gonna take this, and while it's still a little tacky, not fully cured, I'm gonna scrape off any of this stuff like here, where it's on this paint, and then I'm gonna start to shape these high spots. So I'll take my chisel and just kinda carefully do something like that to get this stuff off. You can see why I roughed it up, because it doesn't stick to paint that well. I'm not gonna go too crazy because I can sand it a little bit. I'm gonna be repainting this anyways. But that got pretty much all of it off. And then that's why I wasn't too concerned about the window, because with taping it, because I can just kind of scrape it a little bit like this without marking it up. And then these high spots here, I can just drag my chisel across it like this. This is just gonna make it easier when I go to sand it. It'll be a lot less work. Just get these high spots off. Kind of like that. I can just do that wherever I see fit. It almost has like a rubbery texture at this point. That's when you'll know it's good to do this. That's coming right off the paint too. Oh, didn't sand there. That's okay. That's in good shape. You can also try going this way with the chisel. Sometimes it digs in a little too much though, so you just gotta be careful. Just gonna try and maintain the shape of this round edge. You can see this is all jagged. So if I run my chisel over like this, carefully, it takes a lot of that off, but the Bondo is gonna fill in any of those scratches on the front and stay in there. Get it to look something like this. I could have used a little more, but that's okay. And it depends on how perfect you want this too. So you can definitely do a second, third coat, make it perfect. Get this off of here. The other thing about using tape on something like this is when you go to peel it off, you might mess this up a little bit. So since I'm going to be caulking this in, I'm not too concerned with it. And it's pretty much all gone now. All right, now we can let that cure completely. Probably another 20, 30 minutes. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and this looks okay. You can see right here, there's like some divots, and I could definitely do a second coat here. It all depends on how perfect you want this finish. I'm gonna try and get away with just doing one coat. I'll just sand this all out. I'm gonna use this. This is a corner cat Ryobi. You can use whatever you want. This will get nice and close in over here to these corners. This is 120 grit. Just gonna try and sand this, make it smooth, and I'm just gonna be careful on the edge here, try and get that same round edge that was there before. And I'm also gonna run the vacuum at the same time to try and eliminate some of the dust. Also a good idea to wear a mask while you're doing this. You don't wanna breathe this stuff in. So all I'm doing is running this flat along the top. I'm not worrying about this edge yet. And just trying to make this completely flat and smooth. It's coming out pretty good. I just gotta be careful and get tighter in the corners and the edges. I lift up like this just to try and dig in there without messing this up. And you can see over here, I took most of the Bondo off but you can see anywhere there was a scratch or a dip, that's all filled in, and this is totally smooth. So I just got to get in here a little more. I might take my chisel and try and get some of this out of here and get nice and close with the sander. There's a little hump here in the Bondo. Let's try to get that off. Scrape it down with my chisel, again, just to make sanding easier. And then get all these high spots in the corner. There we go. Let's pretty much take this all down. Do the same thing over here. Just a little much. Try not to dig in too much. Yeah, it's just way too much Bondo over here. Okay, paint's coming right off there. Maybe that's what I needed. Okay, now we're down to bare wood there. I can sand this back, make this even. Okay, so this might look terrible now, but this is great. This is nice and flat and smooth. This is filling in all of the gouges. There's some paint here, but this is nice and smooth. So there's different layers. There's the bare wood, paint, then Bondo. This filled in the dip here. This basically is a whole new coat right over this. And then over here, it's just filling in some of these gouges. You could do another coat, but you know, it's not gonna be absolutely perfect, but it's gonna be pretty close. And on the front here, I'm just gonna be real careful and sand this out to try and get a nice smooth round over. I'm just gonna do this by hand. Again, 120, just so I don't dig into it and make it look awful. Nice and easy. Just kind of rolling the sandpaper. If you want to get a router and rerouter this, you can do that. But not necessary. Get some of this that spilled over to the trim. Shouldn't have to repaint this. Should get it off. Okay. I'm basically just running my hand down here, seeing how smooth it is. There's obvious spots like this. There's a big dent right here that I'm not going to worry too much about. That looks pretty good. Filled in a lot of those scratches. That's pretty round. I think we're good. I'll clean this up and we'll prime it. Try and get up as much dust as you can.